The meat and potatoes. NBA All-Star selections last night, or the reserves at least, were announced, so we know who's going to be participating in the All-Star game. Now, there's always the chance of injuries. We'll have to see what's going on with Anthony Davis. But we have our All-Star selections, and yes, folks, there is some snubs and some snubbery afoot. In the Western Conference, Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant. Those were your starters, of course. And then as reserves, you have Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Victor Wembanyama, Alperen Sengun, James Harden, Jalen Williams, and Jaren Jackson Jr., all in the Western Conference. And then out east, how many first-time All-Stars here? Victor Wembanyama, obviously the first of many. J-Dub, first-time All-Star. Alperen Sengun, first-time All-Star. So congrats to those guys. Out east, is Jaren Jackson first-time All-Star? Did he make it? He made it the year he won Defensive Player of the Year, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Okay, so I thought. Out east, Giannis, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, you're starting 5. And then Tyler Hero, first-time All-Star. Congratulations to him. Cade Cunningham, first-time All-Star. DF'd up. Damian Lillard, Jaylen Brown, Evan Mobley, first-time All-Star. Congratulations to him. Darius Garland and Pascal Siakam. So do we think that there are some snubs? Yes, there are some snubs. And I have my own personal ballot, my own personal opinions that we're going to talk about. Of course, some of the bigger snubs. Kyrie's a huge snub, in my opinion. You have LaMelo, who's also a big snub, was number 1 in fan voting. Just spoiler alert, I was kind of surprised you guys know I'm a LaMelo guy. He's only played in 31 games. And I didn't have him on there. Trae Young is a massive snub. Absolutely. The front court spot out east is tough. It's tough. That last little front court spot you have to have as the reserves. Is a little difficult. Jamal Murray is not the biggest snub. No. Norm Powell, in my opinion, is having a great season. I don't think he's that big. When you look at all the other snubs out west, it's like, how can you squeeze Norm Powell in here? You know? And you guys, well, let me get into mine. Let me get into my personal ballot, and I'll tell you guys who I personally think is the biggest snub, and it might surprise you. Let's start out east. Let's start out east because the east is pretty straightforward, and I had it pretty much the exact same. I had it pretty much identical. Out east, our starting backcourt, our guards. I guess they don't call it backcourt on the All-Star thing. Our 2 starting guards, I had the exact same as the ones that we got. Jalen Brunson, as well as Donovan Mitchell. That's the 2 that we got. Those 2 are having great seasons. Jalen Brunson is the engine on one of the best offenses in the league, one of the more fun and explosive offenses in the league. And he's not having the year that he did last year, but he's still having a tremendous season. And congratulations to him for being an all-star starter, man. What an incredible honor for him. Career high in assists, 40% from deep. No, Brunson hasn't fallen off. He's been playing really well lately. Donovan Mitchell, who's weirdly enough probably having his worst year as a Cav up until this point, but still has been incredible so far this season. The Cavs are playing so well. Donovan Mitchell's such a big piece in that puzzle that I do think he deserves the start. I think the forwards, the front court's pretty self-explanatory. Giannis, I mean, do we need to say anything about him? 31, 12, and 6 this season. Top 3 player in the world, pretty much undisputably. So, at the very least, it goes without saying. Jason Tatum, the anomaly. I saw a hilarious tweet. There's like an ongoing joke, if you're not aware, on Twitter, on Celtics Twitter, where they're just like throwing nicknames. They're just throwing darts, throwing shit on the wall to see what sticks nickname-wise for Jason Tatum. The anomaly is one that was going around. That's such a horrid nickname. The anomaly. Jason Tatum, the anomaly. Come on, get serious. Whenever I started to see that, I saw that people were like, the anomaly plays tonight, and I was like, oh, Wemby? That's what I thought people were talking about Wemby. I was like, oh, Wemby? That's pretty clever. But now they've changed it to, they've changed it to the nickname, which is hilarious. The nickname, Jason Tatum. And then closing out the front court, obviously he's Cat. Goes without saying. So the Knicks get 2 starters, which I think is right. Cat's been amazing. He's been incredible. I mean, I'm really happy for Cat. I am. For him to go to New York and not just like play well, because there was a lot of concerns about that. How's Cat going to handle New York? Not just play well, but completely and totally shatter all expectations and play at this level. Great stuff. Yeah, that trade is just a massive win. I can't believe I got gaslit. Whenever the trade first happened, I was like, dude, this is a stupid ass trade for the Timberwolves. I don't get it at all. And then I got gaslit a little bit by like, well, Dante DiVincenzo and then Julius Randle. I was like, yeah, that's true. Maybe it is a good trade for the Timberwolves. The guy that would have made you rage stream for 8 hours about Luka being traded. Yeah, true. I was wrong. Darius Garland is my first guard reserve. Deserving of an all-star game. He's incredible. I love watching him. He's one of my favorite players to watch in the league. So shifty, so quick, so crafty. Just such a clever passer. Really, really fun player to watch play. Love Darius Garland. Happy that he's in the all-star game again. Happy that he's back to the form that we saw a couple of years ago. Cade Cunningham. Yes, sir. Let's go, man. I never sold my stock. Never. I saw the vision all the way through. Cade Cunningham's having a breakout season. Man, love it. Love it for him. So good, so talented, so skilled at that size. Just happy for the guy. I really am. I'm really happy for him and for Pistons fans. Backcourt reserves. Evan Mobley, first-time All-Star, absolutely deserving of it. Having a breakout season. Evan Mobley, probably still never going to be the guy offensively that we maybe thought, but is blossoming into an elite player on both ends of the court. What a vision, betting the former #1 overall pick. That's right, baby. I'm patting myself on the back. A lot of people sold their Cade stock, though, to be fair. Never me, though. Pascal Siakam, absolutely deserving of his all-star. I have it all the same except one last spot. Pascal Siakam, absolutely deserving of an all-star game, especially when you look at the front court options in the East. They're slim pickings, right? But Siakam's been tremendous. The Pacers have been playing some of the best basketball in the league over the last month and a half or so, and Siakam is a big piece of that. Also, shout out to Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, I was looking at the numbers, putting this together, and he's got like a better case than I would have originally expected. And closing out, my first change, I do have Jared Allen over Jaylen Brown. I don't think Jaylen Brown's been an all-star this season. I just don't. I don't think he's played at that level at all. I get him making it. They just won the finals MVP and is still playing well. I don't think that Jaylen Brown is deserving of it. And yes, this does mean that there's 4 all-stars for the Cleveland Cavaliers, which sounds crazy, but I think a lot of it has to do with the front court position being as thin as it is in the East currently. Franz, Paolo absolutely would have been on this list. They just didn't play. And just by the way, for my little thing, I had a personal 30-game threshold, which I think is what we did last year too. 30 games. If you played in less than 30 games, I didn't even really consider you. So that's why. Otherwise, I think Franz would have been on here. If you played more games, I would have had Franz. But I don't know. I don't think Jaylen Brown has been great. And then I'm trying to think who else would even be in consideration. I saw a lot of Knicks fans making a Josh Hart push. Would you put Josh Hart in the front court? Put him as a wing? I don't think Zach LaVine was considered a forward for this. I thought about that as well. If you could just throw Zach LaVine in as a wing or something. Celtics fans would kill you for this take, given the Celtics deserved 4 last year. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's just things change year by year. Guys get hurt, you know. My 2 wild card spots, Damian Lillard having a tremendous season. I'm not going to lie. Whenever I first saw the thing, I was like, well, LaMelo got snubbed, Trey got snubbed. And originally I was like, okay, well, those guys probably deserved it over Dame. No, not really. 25 points per game for Damian Lillard, 7 assists, 38% from 3, nearly 9 attempts a game. He does deserve to be here. Yet another all-star for Damian Lillard. Congratulations. And then closing it out, the last wild card spot. I'm super happy for Tyler Hero. He's having a great season, a great, fantastic season for the Heat. I saw a hilarious tweet. SJ tweeted the video of Tyler Hero finding out that he made the All-Star game is hilarious because he immediately he heard the Heat and he knew he got it, which does mean that he knew Bam had no chance. And, you know, Bam's my guy, but he's having a disappointing season. No toys around it. But very happy for Tyler Hero.
The Eastern Conference. The last reserve is chosen by the coaches. From the Miami Heat, Tyler Hero. Career, just a career season.
Congratulations for Tyler Hero. That would have been funny if they said Bam Adebayo. Jimmy Butler, yeah. But for my final wild card spot, it has to be Trae Young. It just does. He has to make it. He has to make it. I'm happy for Hero. I really am. It's a cool story. Trae's at 22 points per game, 11.5 assists per game. Their offense just does not run without him. His efficiency hasn't been great this season. But I look at the guards that I think were competing for this spot. Trae, LaMelo, Tyler Hero, Tyrese Maxey. I thought Trae kind of deserved it. And I'm not going to lie. Tyrese Maxey, I think, was my second closest. Like, I think Tyrese Maxey has a really good argument in case for making the All-Star game. You look so youthful today. New skincare routine? Thank you. No, same skincare routine. Again, I got a little thing. I don't know what it's called. You put it on, boom, pat, 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 little spray, spray, rub it in, boom, moisturizer, on, good. You wash your face in the shower before bed, little snail mucin, boom, rub it in, let it sit, brush your teeth, boom, nighttime moisturizer, on. Okay? I will say, anyone who watched the Hawks last night, they would not think Trae's good. Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. He's been inconsistent. He's been very inefficient. All of the guards that were competing for this kind of had their flaws. I mean, Tyrese Maxey had a pretty damn good case. The problem is they haven't won a lot of games, and he struggled at the gates as well. But he's been playing really good lately, so you try not to be prisoner of the moment. But this would be mine. Let's give some honorable mentions real quick. Some snubs for Tyler Hero, which does pain me. LaMelo only played in 31 games. Like that, I think that hurts him quite a bit. Tyrese Maxey, absolutely an argument. Zach LaVine, absolutely an argument. Jaylen Brown definitely still deserves a shout. I'll give it to Josh. I'll give Josh Hart an honorable mention. Vucevic, Franz, Paolo, injuries. Sure. Jordan Poole, honorable mention. There you go. You sticking it to Gen Z by snubbing LaMelo? That's right, kids. Western Conference. Here's where things get really spicy. So immediately, I have a different starting five in my West than we got. And I'm going to be real straight up. Look, you guys know, it's my GOAT. It's my GOAT. He's never missing an All-Star game. When we talk about guys getting snubbed, and it's, oh, this player didn't deserve it, I look around, I'm like, low-key, that guy's having a better year than LeBron. just being like, some of the snubs, I'm like, he's kind of having a better season than LeBron James is. But you're obviously not gonna LeBron's making the All-Star game. My guards are the same. Steph Curry. Yeah, there's probably some guards having better seasons than Steph. Guys, the game's in San Francisco. Okay, it's a non-starter. It's not even worth it to discuss. SGA. Why slightly? I mean, Steph's still having a good year. It's not MVP level Steph, right? But the game's in San Francisco. Like there's no point in even debating it, in my opinion. Yeah, like can you imagine them being like, hey, we think Kyrie's having a better year than Steph, and Steph not being in the All-Star game in Golden State? That would honestly be hilarious. So in my front court, my starters, well, let's just Nikola Jokic, goes without saying. Okay. I do have Jaren Jackson Jr. as a starter. It was between him or Anthony Davis. I went with Jaren Jackson Jr., who I have immense respect for. He's been the best player on the Grizzlies this year pretty easily. Career high in points per game, just barely over last year. However, he's so much more efficient this year than he was a year ago. Has turned into one of the most prolific and efficient post-up players in the league. Still one of the best defenders in the NBA, one of the best shot blockers, one of the most impactful defenders. Their defense is just so much better when he's on the court. I think he deserves a starting nod. I do. And closing it out, I mean, Victor Wembanyama deserves to be starting in the All-Star game. He made it. Congratulations to Vic. But I have him as a starter as well. So those are my starters. Yes, a very interesting front court. A very interesting front court here with Jokic, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Victor Wembanyama. No Luka. No, I personally put a 30-game thing. It's what I did last year. I don't want to not enforce that. He's just missed so many games. KD made the All-Star game playing 19 games one season. Yeah, I know it's happened in the past. But I think those guys got voted in as starters by like the fans and stuff. So Luka would have had to have been voted in as a starter. He was never getting selected by the coaches in the media. Once it got down to reserves, he was never getting picked. 22 games. I wish he was in it. I do. All right. My reserves. Out west. This is where I really start to differ a little bit here. So, I do think Anthony Edwards obviously deserves to make the All-Star game. 42% from three this season on 9 attempts per game. Only Steph Curry in the history of the league has ever had that efficiency on that volume. So we are witnessing one of the better three-point shooting seasons ever, especially one of the best non-Steph Curry three-point shooting seasons ever. I saw a tweet, I don't remember how long ago it was, that this might be the best non-Steph Curry three-point shooting season we've ever seen from Anthony Edwards. Just kind of a crazy turn of events here. No, Luka was absolutely playing like an all-star. Like even in Luka's first 10-game form, he was an all-star. It's just 22 games is a lot of time missed. And it doesn't help also that he's missed time now. Ant became underrated out of nowhere. I think he's pretty properly rated. The playmaking leap is what we're really waiting for, yeah. My other guard is Kyrie Irving. Absolutely, he deserves it. 24 points per game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 60% true shooting. The Mavs offense, 9 points per 100 possessions. Worse when he's off the court. The Mavs, 11-7. I know it doesn't feel like it, but the Mavs are 11-7 this season when Kyrie plays without Luka Doncic. He's been fantastic. He's really kind of turned into a general on the court for the Mavs whenever they desperately need just somebody to stabilize things with Luka off the court. Kyrie deserved it. To be completely honest, I would pick Kyrie over Ant because Kyrie been missing Luka and still have the same record. I mean, it's not one or the other. Like, both of them can make it, just like I had. That's not where Anthony Edwards deserves to be in the All-Star game. That's not where I'm making my arguments. Let's move over to the front court. LeBron James, not in the starting five, but, you know, it's fucking LeBron James. Like, there's no point in doing an All-Star thing and having LeBron James off your All-Star ballot. It's LeBron James. It's the All-Star game. You want to see LeBron James in the All-Star game. There you go. My next front court spot, Anthony Davis, who, watch this space. He might not play in this game. Watch this space with Anthony Davis. He might not play in it. But he's been one of the best players in the league this season. Obviously deserves to be an all-star. And then my last reserve front court spot, Kevin Durant. Lakers don't deserve two players at the All-Stars. I mean, they've both been really good. Kevin Durant, 27 points per game this season, 63% true shooting. Need I say more? It's Kevin Durant. You know what that guy's game is all about. Now let's get to the wild cards. I didn't really think this at the time. I didn't know if I would think this, but after going through and looking at all these guys, I do think J-Dub deserves to make it. Obviously, his team's incredible. Usually teams like that get rewarded with multiple All-Stars. But beyond that, not only has he been good offensively, his efficiency's down compared to where it was a year ago, but he's still at 21 points per game. 3-point percentage is down significantly year over year. But defensively, he's been one of the better defenders in the league so far this season, and is probably going to make an all-defensive team. So I really don't have any problem with him making it. He's been tremendous, and he's been like Chet. They probably would have had 3 All-Stars if Chet was healthy and playing. And closing out, it is a goofy-ass starting lineup. I know it is. Closing it out, I can't believe it or not. I can't believe it, guys. I cannot believe it. I have Domantas Sabonis, who I think was the biggest snub. I can't believe I'm saying that. I think he was the biggest snub, him and Kyrie. Yeah, I know. Trust me. I'm as surprised as you guys are. But Carson Breber had a nice tweet about this, about Sengun versus Sabonis, because that will be the argument. Sabonis 21, 14, and 7. 14 rebounds. 21, 14, and 7. 68% true shooting. Plus 12 on off. Sengun having a great year. 19, 10, and 5 is nothing to sneeze at. But the efficiency's rough. Sengun defensively way better. Oh, he mentions that. Sengun defensively much better than Sabonis, but I get it. You want to reward the Rockets. Sengun's having a great season. There's arguments to be made. He might not even be the best player on their team. Just saying, there's arguments. This would be my group. So should J-Dub really make it? Because even without him, OKC is awesome, but without someone like Harden, Powell, Clippers would be down bad. I do think he deserves to make it. So which means my honorable mentions are James Harden was a difficult cut, but the West is pretty stacked, and I just think Kyrie's having a better season than he is. That's it. Just think he's having a better season than Harden. Other honorable mentions out West. Some guards that didn't make it. Norm Powell, sure. Norm Powell. I'll put Luke on here. Fox. How you just don't take Sabonis over 80, Wemby, Jaren Jackson Jr., or Jokic? I think this is fair. Booker. KOC speculated a Fox to Bucks trade involving Dame. What? Sengun obviously would be in my honorable mentions. PJ Washington. Hell yeah. Who am I missing on my honorable mentions? Anyone? Is this kind of the pool that we were dealing with here? Ja, yeah. Gafford. It's kind of crazy that like the All-Star, all this came out and I have yet to see anybody be like, damn, Ja deserved to make it. If Ben Thompson had played like this all year, there could have been an interesting case. Or at least let me rephrase that. If he had been starting all year, he might have had an interesting case. But anyways, I'm interested. If Anthony Davis ends up missing due to injury, I'm wondering who they give it to. I'd have to guess Sabonis. I'd have to guess Domas. And if somebody gets hurt in the East, I'd have to guess Trey is probably the guy who replaces. I don't like using team success as a real big all-star factor. It's a meaningless game. Just give us the best dudes. Yeah, I do kind of agree with you. I mean, I do agree with you in theory that the all-star game should just be the best players. I'm interested to see if they change this. We'll see how it plays out. I like the idea of the tournament having the rising stars in it against the all-stars is kind of a fun concept. But I'm wondering if next year they scrap that, just add another team, and then add all-star spots. Did you see KOC's mock trade last week? Draymond for Gaff, Maxey, 2 first-round picks. Jesus Christ. A Snubs team. The replacements. That would be kind of fun.